So we got to talk about Samantha because she had her big, proper introduction into this Dark Ether story. Even though, yes, we saw her in the intro cutscene and we've heard multiple radios from her and all that good stuff, but now she's actually a part of the story, which is incredibly interesting to see how it's all going to play out. And maybe there's even a possibility that we're finally getting a maybe canon playable crew. I don't know, but that's not what this video is about. Instead, I want to talk about Samantha and the main thing that we noticed in both the pre-boss fight cutscene and also in the ending cutscene for Firebase Z. And of course, what I'm referring to is probably the thing that everyone else has already noticed, and that is, of course, her eye color, which for some reason has that purple blue kind of that galaxy glowing eyes that you see in anything in relation to the Dark Ether in the story. And I want to talk about that and what exactly could this have meant and how did it even happen. Of course, we don't got proper explanations for either of those admittedly right away, but there's a lot to go off of, especially from the radios that we find inside the map. But with that all said, let's talk about this. So a little background to what's going on here. Well, what happened is that there's currently a mole inside of Requiem, and there's also a mole inside of Omega Group. So there's two moles, and they're both leaking information about the either sides. And of course, we do know the Omega mole is to be Ravnov, and we know everything going on there. But the mole inside Requiem that we are currently unaware of who that is leaking the information from Requiem, when the information they leaked is that there's a mole in Omega Group at Outpost 25, of course, the place where Firebase Z takes place at. And another thing they leaked alongside with that is that Samantha was going to meet with this mole directly. And when they did that, Omega Group decided to intercept her and then capture her. And from there, she was captured. And that's when Dr. Peck went and started to interrogate her. He interrogates her through two different radios that we get in the map, and she doesn't really tell him anything. And because of that, Dr. Peck goes and uses his truth serum. Psych, he didn't actually do that. He thought of a much better plan. Instead of using the truth serum that we literally use inside the map, instead he decides that he's going to throw her inside the Dark Ether in a form of interrogation to get information from her. Now, given it's not as stupid as it sounds, because he wasn't planning to just leave her there. It was supposed to be throw her over there, show her how awful it is, and then bring her back and then further interrogate her. But unfortunately for him, what happened is that while he was doing this, an outbreak happened at the outpost, and of course it got overrun by zombies, so we couldn't really bring her back, or I guess bringing her back to further interrogate her wasn't high on his priority list at that time, when literally everyone at that outpost had died besides for himself and of course Ravnov. And this of course leads us to what was going on with Samantha inside the Dark Ether. And it's actually quite interesting, the radios that we've heard while she was trapped in the Dark Ether.
Monsters are real. I used to have nightmares about them, and I told myself I was being foolish. I was wrong. I'm not scared. I have overcome much worse things. I will take their power from them by using it. Now, I hide in shadows, like they did when I was a child. I found shelter. I found food. I do what I need to in order to survive. Tomorrow will be a better day. I will choose to believe that.
So this one, again, just the normal themes you would get out of someone being trapped in the Dark Ether for the most part, but then it has one line that is incredibly interesting, because what she says is that I'm not scared, I've overcome much worse. I will take their power from them by using it. Now I hide in the shadows like they did when I was a child. For people who have recent or are familiar with the original Ether storyline, they would know that back in the radios of the reason, I think it was the first times we heard that Samantha was trapped in the MPD. And where did the MPD lead? Of course, it was to the Dark Ether, and from there she was able to control the zombies. But of course, as we know, people that go into the Dark Ether seem to not be in control this time around, and this actually gives us some sort of explanation to why that is the case. Is because someone else is in charge of the Dark Ether now, and not just whoever just arrives in the Dark Ether. Someone that was hid in the shadows when she was a child, when she had control over the Dark Ether, and now those people have came out of the shadows, and it's kind of a flip of the script where now instead of them hiding in the shadows from her, she is now hiding in the shadows from them. Now, who they are, it could just be the overlords, but considering that we fight them on round 30 and also in the boss fight, I find it to be slightly unlikely that these things that seem quite unintelligent to us are going to be behind all of this. And it really gets me wondering what exactly is going on and who exactly she is referring to here, and can't wait to figure that one out. Before we move off this radio, we have to take a little sidestep and talk about something else, and then come back to this radio because they are directly linked to each other. But of course, what I'm talking about here is when we first saw Samantha emerge from the Dark Ether, or even in the ending cutscene itself too, where we see Samantha, she has a major change to her person. Obviously, she's not wearing the same stuff as she was when she first got there, but that's a different video for a different day. But the main thing that everyone notices right away is that her eyes are this purple blue dark ether looking color, and a lot of people have wondered, what does that mean? Does this mean she has her old powers back, or has she become corrupted again, or what's going on? Well, it was answered in that radio.
I will take the power from them by using it.
This confirms it that Samantha has some sort of power from someone else. Now, who that person is and what those powers are a complete mystery, and if those powers corrupt her is again a mystery on its own. But we do know from this radio that she does have some sort of powers, and the question becomes then for that we could potentially answer is, who is this power from? Because she says it as if she's taking power from somebody, right? She says, I will take their power by using it, right? So who or is she taking this power from them, and how did she get it? Did these people grant it to her in trying to get her to do something for them, but she's going to not do that, or what's going on here? It's a complete mystery right now, but it gets me really, really excited to figure out, one, what in the heck her powers are, two, if she's still on our side, or maybe on the side of whoever granted her this power, and then she's just going to backstab them too, because it doesn't sound like she's on their side either. But regardless, and then finally, three, who is this entity that she is taking this power from, or wanting to take this power from, and has been granted this power from them, and why did they do it? Those are the questions that I'm very, very excited to see the day when we get the answer for them, because it is incredibly interesting. But I think that's going to, I guess, wrap it up for this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything we've talked about in this video, whether it be, you know, the radios themselves, or maybe the mention of her powers, or what they are, who's granted them. All ideas, thoughts, and everything I would appreciate very much down in the comments, because this is going to be a fun little ride to do to figure out what's going on here. But anyways, that's about it for me. If you guys did enjoy this video, then definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be, and laters, guys.